Children, in class 6 we studied ancient history, and in class 7 we are going to study the medieval history, and in class 8 you will be going to study the modern history. So let's focus on the medieval history for the 7th standard. The first question is, which period is considered as the medieval history? The time span, that is from 8th century to 18th century, is considered as the medieval period. And again, this medieval period is divided into two parts. One is the early medieval period, that is from 8th century to 13th century CE, and the second one is later medieval period, that is from 13th century to 18th century. Friends, now what's the name of the chapter? That is tracing changes through 1,000 years. Here we are going to see the changes that occurred over 1,000 years. So let's see what are all the changes happened in these 1,000 years. Now the first change is as far as the map is concerned, that is maps. So here the first map of India was prepared by an Arab geographer. He prepared this map in the year 1154 CE. This is the first map prepared by Al-Idrisi in the year 1154. The question is, who is a cartographer? Friends, cartographer is a person who prepares or he makes maps. And it was drawn, I'm talking about the second map, and it was drawn in 1720s, that is 600 years after the first map. This was used by the European sailors and the merchants on their voyages. Now let's move on to the second change, that is new and old terminologies. Now meaning of various terms changed over time. Meaning of the term Hindustan has changed over the centuries. Minhaj-i-Siraj, a Persian chronicler, he describes Hindustan as the area of Punjab, Haryana and the lands between Ganga and Yamuna. Babur, you know who is Babur? Yes, under the Mughal Sultan, he was the popular, or he laid the foundation of Mughal Empire, isn't it? According to him, the geography, the fauna and the culture of the inhabitants of the subcontinent. Even Amir Khusro used the term Hind in a similar way. But today we use the term Hindustan for the entire nation. Similarly, the meaning of the word foreigner has changed over the centuries. Now, in the past, a stranger who was not a part of society or culture was termed as a foreigner. For example, if a person from Delhi, and if he goes to Agra, and he was termed as a foreigner in Agra. But now, at present, it is not like that. Whom do we then call a foreigner? A foreigner is a person or someone who is not an Indian. Now let's talk about change number 3. Historians and their sources. Now, historians, they used two different sources to construct the history. One is considered as the archaeological sources and another one is the literary sources. Now, what are all the archaeological sources? It may be the coins, the inscriptions, and the architecture like the buildings, forts, tombs, temples, then paintings, etc. They are all considered as archaeological sources. Another one is literary sources. It consists of letters, then teachings of saints, then manuscripts, then holy text, then chronicles of rulers, etc. Now, use of paper for writing manuscript. Friends, you have already studied what is manuscript, whatever it is written by hand, isn't it? Or we can say that is a handwritten book or document is considered as a manuscript. Usually palm leaves or the barks of the beech tree is used for writing this manuscript, isn't it? That we have studied. And usually these manuscripts were collected by rich people, rulers, and even in temples. And they were placed or they were kept in libraries or in the archives. You can say that it is museum type. They were a very important source of information for the historians. But they were very difficult to use. Scribes, I'm underlining this word, scribes, copied manuscripts by hand. Now the first question is, who are considered as scribes? A person who wrote book or document by hand as a profession. He is considered as a scribe. Let's move on. Now the difficulties the historians faced using manuscripts. Scribes introduce many changes in the manuscripts while copying the text because maybe of less legible handwriting, etc. Maybe a small change at the initial stage over the years proved that same text was substantially different from one another. As a result, historians have to read the original manuscripts, which was very difficult to get, and to guess what the author had originally written. Let's talk about change number 4. That is new social and political groups. Under this, we are going to study new terminologies made their appearance, emergence of new groups, changes due to extension of agriculture, and emergence of jatis. Now let's discuss in detail one by one. The first one, as I told you, new changes in technology. First one is spinning wheel for weaving. Second, potion wheel for irrigation. Third, firearms for combat, that means for fighting. And new foods and beverages like tea, coffee, potato, corn, etc. Second one, that is emergence of new groups. Here they have mentioned about the Rajputs, the Sikhs, the Ahoms, the Jats, the Kayasthas and the Marathas. And in your textbook, they have mentioned about the Rajputs. For example, the word Rajput has been derived from the word Rajputra, that means the son of a ruler, usually belongs to the Kshatriya caste, and they are famous for their loyalty and courage. And normally they are either the soldiers or the rulers. And out of this, the changes due to, third one, changes due to the extension of agriculture. Here, some changes have been introduced in agriculture too. Because of that, the forests were cleared. As once the forests were cleared, the life of forest dwellers means those who were depending upon the agriculture or depending upon forest as their home, their life also changed. And because of that, they migrated to towns and many became peasants under the big zamindars or the farmers, and ultimately leading to new jatis. And the next one, that is emergence of jatis. Jati or subcaste refer to grouping and ranking people on the basis of their background or profession. They framed their own rules and regulations to manage the conduct of their members. These regulations were enforced by an assembly of elders called Jati Panchayat. However, Jatis were also required to follow the rules and regulations of their villages. Now change number 5, that is new regions and empire. Here we are going to study one particular thing, that is what is pan-regional empire. It means an empire spanning diverse region, maybe for ruling for long period of time. So they are maybe the Cholas, very famous in South India, ruling South India, Mughals, as you know very well, and then third one, Tughlaqs and Khaljis. Both Tughlaqs and Khaljis comes under the Delhi Sultanate. Change number 6, old and new religion. Here we are talking about two prominent religions. One is Hinduism and another one is Islam. And in between Hinduism and Islam, one more new form of religion arises, that is Bhakti cult. Now let's speak about the Hinduism. Here the worship of new gods and goddesses, importance of Brahmins increases. Usually the rulers, they constructed temples for their gods and goddesses. And if we're talking about the Islam, it accepted one supreme power, that is one God. And here in Islam there are two groups. One is Shia Muslims and another one is Sunni Muslims. And for them, Quran is their holy book. As I told you, in between one more cult emerged, that is Bhakti cult. Here devotees can reach their deities or gods and goddesses without performing any rituals or any priest. That means if you have pure heart or bhakti, you can attain salvation or mukti from the cycle of birth and death. Now the next change, that is the 7th change we are talking about, division of past into periods. Historians divided history into two periods. One is prehistory and another one is post-history. So for prehistory, no written records are available, and this prehistory is divided into 3, that is Paleolithic, Mesolithic or Neolithic, and you have already studied about this in class 6. And post-history, if you are talking about, written records are available, and that is again being divided into ancient history, medieval history and modern history. British historians divided the Indian history into 3 parts, that is Hindu, Muslim and British. Friends, that's all about the chapter number 1. Hope you like it, understand, and if there is any problem, please, if there is any doubt, please mention in the comment box, I will try to solve your problems. Thank you. Children, hope you understand the content. I know that presently you are not having textbook. For that, I would suggest you to download either NCERT Solutions app or Diksha portal. Even the extra marks suggested by your class teacher. If you have any doubt or any comment, please put it in or share it in the comment box. I will try to answer your questions. Stay home, stay safe and follow the instruction given by your parents. Thank you.